knows every shadow like a lover's name. Her steps a rhythm, a deadly game. Fingers chase the edge of time. She rewrites the world, one line at a time.
Chapter 2. Raw Intervention. Ananya Rao was 33 years old. She worked as a spy for India. Her job was to keep secrets and protect the country. To most people, she looked like any other young woman. But she was actually one of India's smartest and most dangerous officers in R.A.W., India's secret intelligence agency. Her story did not start in dark rooms or secret government buildings. It began far from home, in London, at a famous school called the London School of Economics. There, Ananya learned how countries work with each other and compete. She studied politics and economics. The old stone buildings of that school had taught many important Indian leaders before her. Now, they were teaching her too. At the London School, Ananya met children of diplomats and future world leaders. She watched how they talked and acted. She learned to understand what people really meant when they spoke carefully. She discovered how money and politics work around the world. Her time there changed her completely. She became someone who could think like a politician and act like a spy. She continued her education and went on to study computer science at Cambridge University. She received a prestigious scholarship that helped pay for her studies there. During her time at Cambridge, she earned a computer science degree. Her degree program had a special focus on code systems, which means she learned about creating, understanding, and working with different types of computer codes and programming languages. When she came back to India, her choice was clear. She joined R.A.W. Getting in was just the first step. The training that came next was very hard. They tested her mind and body in tough ways. She learned how to disappear in crowds and listen without being noticed. She learned to fight and to speak in different accents. Each lesson added another layer to the mask she wore in public. In her secret world, who you really are is more valuable than gold. Ananya had to balance hiding herself while doing her mission. Every day, she gathered whispers of information from distant cities. She studied satellite pictures of troop movements and mapped terrorist networks. At night, in her small apartment, even the walls seemed to be listening. Ananya's work was bigger than just collecting secrets. It helped shape what happened between countries. She worked on fighting terrorism. Her reports helped government leaders make important decisions. But the pressure never stopped. Sometimes it almost broke her spirit. Her quick wit and rare jokes were her only protection against feeling so alone. Among all the secrets she kept, one was closest to her heart. Hidden in her apartment drawer was an old photograph. The face in the picture belonged to Lucien Moreau, a man from France's intelligence agency. He was trained like her, smart and cultured. They had worked together on secret missions. Their relationship was never meant to be talked about. It grew during quiet moments between assignments. French and Indian intelligence sometimes worked together in secret. Ananya and Lucien represented that partnership. They were equals, bound by secrecy and shared loneliness. But beneath their professional respect, there was a fragile connection. In private stolen moments, they almost forgot they were spies and remembered they were human. But their dangerous work killed any hopes of love. To show such feelings meant showing weakness. And in their work, weakness meant death. So the photograph stayed hidden. This hidden picture also showed the bigger burdens Ananya carried. Inside R.A.W., like many spies before her, people often underestimated her. Her successes stayed invisible in a world where success was measured by silence and shadows. The weight of memories and betrayals echoed in her mind. In this line of work, trust was rarer than truth. Friends could become enemies. In the end, the only certainty was being alone. But through all this moral confusion and personal sacrifice, Ananya emerged stronger, not broken. She represented the evolution of Indian intelligence. She was not like movie spies, but a real force adapting to modern battles. She handled cyber threats, terrorism, and economic spying with cold precision. She was trained in world capitals, spoke multiple languages, and could blend into any culture. Her story was not just about spying or serving the country. It showed the invisible sacrifices behind India's quiet rise on the world stage. She was a woman shaped by education, loyalty, and loss. Ananya Rao carried the burdens of 1,000 unseen wars. Wars that shaped nations, but left only shadows and whispers behind. In this world, Ananya walked a narrow path. She was always watchful, always restless. She lived between the world she protected and the loneliness she endured. She was forever marked by the secrets she kept and the love she could never claim. This was her life, lived in shadows, where every smile hid a secret, every glance held weight, and every heartbeat was a silent promise to a nation that could never know her name. Ananya's small, cluttered office was inside a secret raw safe house. It was a 3-bedroom villa, hidden in the back of a gated community in Kompally, a suburb of Hyderabad. The villa mixed strategic positioning with quiet suburban charm. It showed the layered reality of this fast-growing residential area on Hyderabad's northern edge. The safe house used one of the 3 bedrooms in this 3,600-square-foot villa. So the safe house stood not just as a physical shelter, but as a symbolic fortress. It sat at the meeting point of Hyderabad's rapid urban growth and the shadowy world of spy activities. The sharp ring of Ananya's secure phone broke the silence. She answered with practiced calm, but a sharp edge in her voice showed the weight behind every call she received. The voice on the other end was brief. It was a raw director, delivering orders soaked in urgency. Ravi Varma disappeared last night. We need your expertise immediately. No mistakes, Rao. Ananya's heartbeat quickened, but she hid it with a casual breath. She was not close to Ravi, at least professionally, but a sinking feeling told her this disappearance was far from ordinary. Timeline? She asked, already reaching for her encrypted tablet. 18 hours, maybe less. The director's voice carried the weight of bureaucratic pressure. The foreign minister is breathing down our necks. Varma was carrying sensitive information on the quantum computing project. The line went dead before Ananya could respond. Standard protocol meant no unnecessary talking on secure channels. She stared at the phone for a moment, processing what this meant. Ravi Varma was not just any analyst. He was Raw's connection to the Defense Research and Development Organization. He specialized in emerging technologies that could shift global power balances. Her instincts whispered about something hiding beneath the surface. Maybe a trap or a leak within Raw itself. She had been down those roads before, navigating the dangerous waters of institutional betrayal that seemed to define modern intelligence work. The team around her waited expectantly. There was no room for hesitation in intelligence work. She started up encrypted channels, fingers flying over keys as every piece of data about Ravi's last moves flowed onto her screens. The familiar glow of multiple monitors lit up her face as layers of surveillance data came in real time. Details leaked in: a power outage at the tech summit, unexpected foreign presence, an empty briefcase. Too many agencies were watching Hyderabad now, and not all were friendly. The tech summit had been India's showcase event, drawing delegates from Silicon Valley, Shenzhen, and Tel Aviv, but intelligence reports suggested other players had infiltrated the gathering. These were operatives from countries that viewed India's technological advancement as a direct threat to their own strategic interests. Ananya pulled up surveillance footage from the Hyderabad International Convention Center. The timestamp showed 11:47 p.m., approximately when Ravi was last seen leaving the venue. She watched him navigate through the crowd, briefcase in hand, seemingly unaware of the multiple sets of eyes tracking his movement. 2 men in dark suits kept a discreet distance, their positioning too professional to be coincidental. "Amateur hour," she muttered, zooming in on their faces. The facial recognition software churned through databases, cross-referencing against known foreign operatives. Within minutes, results appeared. Pavel Kozlov and Chen Wei-Ming, Russian SVR and Chinese MSS, respectively. An unusual collaboration that raised immediate red flags. Her secure terminal chimed with an incoming message from Deputy Director Mehta. Varma's hotel room sanitized. No evidence of struggle. Professional extraction. Professional extraction. The phrase sent a chill down Ananya's spine. Either Ravi was compromised and extracted by hostile intelligence, or he was relocated by R.A.W itself for reasons she was not being told. In this business, the line between rescue and elimination often blurred beyond recognition. Ananya dove deeper into Ravi's recent activities, accessing his digital footprint through backdoors that officially did not exist. His browser history revealed an obsession with quantum encryption protocols. Specifically, research being conducted at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. The implications hit her immediately. Quantum computing was not just about faster calculations. It was about making current encryption methods useless overnight. Whoever controlled quantum computing technology first would hold the keys to every digital secret on the planet. National security infrastructures, financial systems, military communications. All would become transparent to the quantum-enabled adversary. Her thoughts flickered to an old encrypted message embedded deep inside Ravi's files, signed off with one word: Ananya. A connection she did not understand yet, but promised danger and opportunity. She isolated the message, running it through multiple decryption protocols. The text was brief but mysterious. The summit was a selection process. They are not interested in technology. They want the architect. Trust no one at headquarters. The leak runs deeper than you know. The timestamp showed the message was created 3 days ago, but scheduled for automatic delivery only if Ravi failed to check in within 24 hours. A dead man's switch. Her blood ran cold as she realized Ravi had expected his own disappearance. Ananya's secure phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Cafe Mocha, Tank Bund Road. 20 minutes. Come alone. Every protocol screamed against meeting unknown contacts without backup, but something about the message's timing felt urgent. She grabbed her sidearm, checked the magazine, and slipped it into her shoulder holster. The weight provided minimal comfort in a world where bullets often arrived after betrayal had already done its damage. The drive through Hyderabad's evening traffic provided cover for counter-surveillance. She took 3 unnecessary turns, doubled back twice, and parked 4 blocks from the actual destination. Old habits from field training that have kept her alive through assignments in Kashmir, Myanmar, and Afghanistan. Cafe Mocha sat nestled between an electronics store and a traditional textile shop, its neon sign flickering inconsistently. Inside, the usual mix of college students and business professionals created natural camouflage. She spotted her contact immediately, a woman in her 50s, wearing a navy blue sari, fingers nervously adjusting her gold bangles. "Mrs. Varma." Ananya approached carefully. "You must be from the government," the woman replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Ravi spoke of you, said you were one of the few who could be trusted." Ananya slid into the opposite seat, keeping visual contact with all entrances. "What did your husband tell you about his work?" "Nothing specific. He was careful about that." Mrs. Varma's hands trembled slightly as she lifted her teacup. "But he was scared these past few weeks, said someone was watching him, following him. He started carrying a second phone, one he thought I did not know about." "Do you have this phone?" Varma glanced around nervously before sliding a small device across the table. "He hid it behind our refrigerator. I found it this morning after the police left." Ananya pocketed the device quickly. "Has anyone else contacted you? Any government officials, foreign nationals, journalists?" "A man called this afternoon. Said he was from R.A.W, like you. Wanted to know if Ravi had left any documents at home." Mrs. Varma's eyes showed the strain of the past 24 hours. "I told him no, but he insisted on searching anyway." Alarm bells rang in Ananya's mind. She had not authorized any search of the Varma residence, and protocol required her approval for any contact with family members. Someone was operating outside official channels. What did this man look like? Tall, maybe 40 years old. North Indian accent, expensive suit. He showed identification, but... Mrs. Varma paused, searching for words. Something felt wrong. Ravi always said trust your instincts about people. Back at R.A.W headquarters, Ananya analyzed Ravi's second phone in her secure lab. The device contained a treasure of encrypted communications, GPS tracking data, and photographs that painted a disturbing picture. Ravi had been conducting his own investigation into potential security breaches within the intelligence community. One set of photographs showed Deputy Director Mehta meeting with a known arms dealer at an upscale restaurant in Banjara Hills. Another captured Assistant Director Singh accepting an envelope from an individual later identified as a Pakistani ISI operative. The timestamp indicated these meetings occurred during the same week as the tech summit. The scope of potential compromise became clear. This was not about one missing analyst or stolen technology. Someone had been systematically mapping India's intelligence capabilities, identifying key personnel, and likely preparing for a larger operation. Ananya's secure terminal chirped with an incoming video call from Director General Krishnamurthy himself. She accepted, noting the unusual hour and the director's tired appearance. "Rao, we have a problem," he began without introduction. Foreign intelligence sources indicate Varma may have been recruited as a double agent months ago. His disappearance could be voluntary defection. The accusation hit like a physical blow. Ananya had worked with Ravi on 3 separate operations over the past 2 years. His loyalty and competence were never in question, and suggesting otherwise felt like institutional lying. "Sir, I have reviewed his recent activities. There is no evidence supporting defection. In fact, his personal communications suggest he discovered security breaches within our own organization." Krishnamurthy's expression hardened. "That is a serious allegation, Rao. Are you suggesting R.A.W. has been compromised at senior levels?" "I am suggesting we consider all possibilities before labeling a missing colleague as a traitor." Ananya chose her words carefully, aware that this conversation was likely being recorded. Ravi's wife mentioned unauthorized contact from someone claiming RA affiliation. "We may be dealing with hostile penetration of ongoing operations." The director's pause stretched uncomfortably long. "Rao, you are to focus exclusively on locating Varma. Do not pursue allegations of internal compromise without explicit authorization." "Is that understood?" "Understood, sir." The call ended abruptly, leaving Ananya staring at a blank screen. The directive felt less like operational guidance and more like containment. Someone wanted her investigation limited to external threats, while internal vulnerabilities remained unexamined. Working through the night, Ananya pieced together a complex web of communications from Ravi's secret phone. Cross-referencing timestamps with known intelligence operations revealed a pattern. Information about Indian capabilities consistently leaked to foreign services within 48 hours of internal briefings. The leak was not random. It was systematic and well-positioned. Someone with access to high-level intelligence assessments had been feeding information to multiple foreign agencies, creating a bidding war for Indian secrets. Her analysis was interrupted by a soft knock on her office door. She quickly minimized her screens before responding. "Come in." Deputy Director Mehta entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee and wearing an expression of concerned friendship. "Working late again, Ananya? This Varma situation has everyone on edge." She accepted the coffee while maintaining professional distance. "Just trying to piece together his last known movements. Any updates from your end?" "Nothing concrete yet. But I have been thinking about our conversation earlier." Mehta settled into the chair across from her desk. "What if Varma's disappearance is connected to the quantum computing project itself? Maybe foreign intelligence realized they could not steal the technology, so they decided to steal the people who understand it." The theory sounded believable, but Ananya recognized it as potential misdirection. Mehta's presence in Ravi's surveillance photos made his involvement suspicious, regardless of his apparent cooperation. "That is possible," she agreed neutrally, "though it raises questions about our security protocols for personnel working on sensitive projects." "Exactly my concern. We might need to consider that Varma was targeted specifically because of his access." Mehta sipped his coffee thoughtfully. "Have you found anything in his personal effects that might indicate foreign contact?" The question felt like a fishing expedition. Ananya maintained her poker face while formulating a response that revealed nothing. "Still analyzing his communications. Most of his professional contacts appear routine, but I am looking for anomalies." "Good. Keep me informed of any developments. This situation has implications beyond just one missing analyst." Mehta stood to leave, then paused at the door. "Oh, and Ananya, be careful who you trust with sensitive information. The foreign minister is concerned about leaks within the intelligence community." After he left, Ananya stared at the coffee cup suspiciously. In her world, even hospitality could be weaponized. She set it aside untouched and returned to her investigation. Deep diving into communication intercepts revealed a disturbing international dimension to Ravi's disappearance. The Russian and Chinese operatives identified at the tech summit were not working independently. They were part of a larger intelligence consortium that included Pakistani ISI and Iranian MOIS operatives. The consortium appeared focused on acquiring Indian technological capabilities related to quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and advanced defense systems. But their methodology suggested something more sophisticated than traditional espionage. They were conducting comprehensive talent acquisition operations. Ananya discovered that 3 other Indian scientists working on quantum research had received lucrative job offers from foreign technology companies in the past 6 months. 2 accepted positions in Singapore and Dubai, respectively, effectively removing their expertise from Indian development programs. The pattern suggested a systematic campaign to drain India's technological talent pool while simultaneously gathering intelligence on remaining programs. Ravi's disappearance fit this model, but his resistance may have prompted more direct action. Her secure terminal displayed an incoming encrypted message from an address she did not recognize. Varma is alive, but time is limited. Foreign extraction planned within 72 hours. Meet me at Charminar tomorrow, 2 p.m. Trust no one at headquarters. A friend. The message arrived through channels that should be impossible for unauthorized users to access. Either someone had compromised R.A.W.'s most secure communication systems, or the message came from within the organization itself. As Ananya scanned through raw footage and intercepted signals, a shadow passed by her office window, too quick to be a coincidence. Her office was on the 7th floor of a secure building. Casual pedestrians do not create shadows at that height. She immediately dimmed her screens and moved away from the window, drawing her sidearm in a fluid motion. Years of field experience had taught her that being paranoid was often the difference between survival and becoming a casualty statistic. The building's security systems showed a normal status, but Ananya knew those systems could be compromised by anyone with sufficient technical expertise and institutional access. She activated her personal security protocol, a discreet alarm that would alert a private security firm, rather than official R.A. channels. Moving carefully through the darkened office, she positioned herself with clear sightlines to both the door and the window, while maintaining cover behind a heavy filing cabinet. The minutes stretched endlessly as she waited for any sign of intrusion. Her personal phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. "We know you are investigating. Stop digging or join Varma. Your choice." The threat was unmistakable, but it also revealed desperation. Someone was worried enough about her investigation to risk exposure through direct threats. She photographed the message before deleting it, adding another piece to her growing evidence file. The next afternoon, Ananya approached the historic Charminar monument through the crowded streets of old Hyderabad. The iconic structure drew thousands of tourists daily, providing perfect cover for secret meetings while making surveillance nearly impossible. She arrived 30 minutes early, using the time to identify potential threats and establish escape routes. The medieval architecture created numerous blind spots where operatives could position themselves, but it also provided opportunities for someone familiar with the terrain. At exactly 2 p.m., a woman in a traditional salwar kameez approached her position near the monument's base. She was young, perhaps mid-20s, with the alert eyes of someone accustomed to watching for danger. "You came alone. Good." The woman's English carried a slight South Indian accent. "I represent people who care about Ravi's safety." "Which people?" Ananya kept her voice neutral while scanning for surveillance. "People who understand that this conspiracy extends beyond Indian borders." The woman produced a tablet showing surveillance footage of Ravi being escorted into a black sedan by 2 men. This was taken yesterday morning at a safe house near Secunderabad. Ananya studied the footage carefully. Ravi appeared unharmed, but clearly not free to leave. His escorts showed professional bearing, consistent with intelligence operatives. "Who took this footage?" "Associates of mine who monitor foreign intelligence activities in the region." The woman's evasive answer raised more questions than it answered. "The men holding Ravi work for a private intelligence firm with contracts from multiple foreign governments." "What do they want with him?" Information about India's quantum computing capabilities, obviously, but also something more valuable. They want him to identify other scientists working on similar projects. The woman paused, checking her surroundings before continuing. They are building a comprehensive database of Indian technological talent. The implications sent a chill through Ananya. This was not just about stealing current research. It was about mapping India's future technological potential and neutralizing it through talent acquisition or elimination. Why are you helping him? Because some of us believe technology should serve humanity, not political dominance. The woman's idealistic response sounded rehearsed, suggesting deeper motivations. Ravi discovered that his own colleagues were facilitating these foreign operations. He was planning to expose them when he disappeared. She produced a USB drive and slid it across the small table between them. Everything Ravi gathered about the conspiracy is on there. Names, dates, financial transactions. But be careful. Some of those names might surprise you. Back in her secure office, Ananya analyzed the USB drive's contents. The data revealed a web of corruption that penetrated deep into India's intelligence and defense establishments. Senior officials had been accepting payments from foreign intelligence services in exchange for information about technological developments and personnel. The financial records showed transactions totaling millions of dollars over the past 18 months. Payment recipients included Deputy Director Mehta, Assistant Director Singh, and shockingly, Director General Krishnamurthy himself. The quantum computing project was not just compromised. It was being systematically dismantled from within. But the deepest betrayal came in the form of communication records showing that her own investigation had been monitored and reported to foreign handlers. Every step she had taken, every lead she had pursued, had been transmitted to the very people holding Ravi captive. Her secure phone rang. Director General Krishnamurthy's direct line. Rao, report to my office immediately. We have received intelligence about Varma's location. The summoning felt like a trap, but refusing would only confirm their suspicions about her knowledge. She copied the USB drive's contents to multiple secure locations before heading to the director's office. Krishnamurthy sat behind his massive desk, flanked by Deputy Director Mehta and two men she did not recognize. Their expensive suits and confident bearing suggested foreign intelligence operatives now operating openly within RAW headquarters. Ananya, I would like you to meet our colleagues from international partner agencies. Krishnamurthy began with false friendliness. They have been assisting with the Varma investigation. One of the men stepped forward with a predatory smile. Ms. Rao, we understand you have been working very hard to locate Mr. Varma. Perhaps you would share your findings with us. The moment crystallized her understanding. There was no investigation anymore, only damage control. They knew she had evidence of their conspiracy and were now moving to contain her. I have not located him yet, she lied smoothly. But I am following several promising leads. Excellent. We would like you to pursue those leads with our guidance. The man's tone suggested this was not a request. Time is of the essence, and international cooperation is essential. Krishnamurthy nodded approvingly. Ananya, you will be working directly with our partners from now on. Your previous independence is temporarily suspended. The phrase temporarily suspended in intelligence work often meant permanently eliminated. She nodded agreement while mentally calculating exit strategies. That evening, Ananya implemented an escape plan she had developed years earlier for compromised operations. Using predetermined protocols, she transferred critical evidence to secure servers outside India, while simultaneously alerting international journalists and intelligence agencies about the conspiracy. Her apartment had been under surveillance since her meeting with Krishnamurthy, but she had anticipated this development. Through a network of safe houses and identity switches, she reached a secure location where loyal RAW operatives had been monitoring the corruption from the shadows. Senior analyst Sharma, a 20-year veteran with perfect integrity, greeted her with grim determination. We have been watching this conspiracy develop for months, but needed someone like you to gather actionable evidence. How deep does it go? Ananya asked, while reviewing intelligence reports spread across multiple computers. At least 40% of RAW's senior leadership, plus significant penetration of defense research institutions. Sharma's assessment was devastating. Foreign intelligence services have essentially purchased access to India's most sensitive technological developments. What about Ravi? Still alive, but they are planning to transfer him out of the country within hours. Once he is in international waters, retrieving him becomes nearly impossible. Ananya studied satellite imagery showing a private airfield near Hyderabad, where unusual activity suggested preparation for nighttime departure. 2 aircraft sat on the tarmac, 1 civilian registration, 1 military transport. We need to move tonight, she decided, but we cannot trust official channels. Sharma nodded grimly. I have assembled a team of operatives whose loyalty is beyond question. It is a small group, but everyone has field experience and personal reasons for wanting this conspiracy exposed. As darkness falls over Hyderabad, Ananya's small team positions itself around the private airfield. Intelligence suggests Ravi is being held in a hangar while his captors prepare for extraction. Foreign operatives and corrupted RA officials are coordinating the operation, making it a target-rich environment for justice. Through night vision scopes, she observes Deputy Director Mehta arriving in an official vehicle, accompanied by the same foreign operatives who had appeared in Krishnamurthy's office. Their casual interaction confirms the depth of institutional betrayal. Her earpiece crackles with updates from team members positioned at strategic points around the facility. Target acquired. Varma is in the main hangar, appears unharmed but restrained. The extraction plan requires precise timing. They need to secure Ravi while simultaneously gathering evidence of the conspiracy in action. One misstep could result in casualties and allow the corrupted network to disappear. All teams execute on my mark, Ananya whispers into her throat microphone. The operation unfolds with professional precision. Flashbang grenades disorient the guards, while Ananya's team secures the hangar through multiple entrances. Ravi is freed within minutes, but the real prize comes in the form of laptops and communication devices containing evidence of the international conspiracy. Deputy Director Mehta attempts to flee but is apprehended near the aircraft. His capture provides the final link in a chain of evidence that will expose decades of institutional corruption. 3 days later, Ananya sits in a secure briefing room, facing a tribunal of senior officials from the Prime Minister's office, the National Security Advisor's team, and carefully vetted RA leadership. The evidence she's presented has already resulted in arrests across multiple government agencies and defense institutions. The scope of foreign penetration exceeded our worst-case scenarios, admits the National Security Advisor. Your investigation has prevented the complete compromise of our quantum computing capabilities. Ravi, recovering but determined, provides testimony that fills remaining gaps in their understanding of the conspiracy. His research had uncovered financial networks linking corrupted Indian officials to foreign intelligence services operating through private contractors. They weren't just stealing current technology, he explains. They were mapping our entire technological development pipeline and systematically neutralizing it through talent acquisition and strategic misdirection. Director General Krishnamurthy, now in custody pending trial, had been the conspiracy's highest-placed asset. His position allowed foreign intelligence services to direct R.A.W. operations while appearing to protect national interests. Ananya finds herself facing an uncertain future. Lauded as a hero by some, viewed with suspicion by others who question how one analyst uncovered such extensive corruption while senior officials remained oblivious. What's next for you? Asks the National Security Advisor during a private moment after the tribunal session. Rebuilding trust, she answers honestly. This conspiracy succeeded because too many people stopped questioning authority and started accepting institutional wisdom without verification. That evening, alone in her temporary quarters at a secure government facility, Ananya reviews the investigation's aftermath. The conspiracy has been disrupted, but its international dimension suggests similar operations in other countries. Foreign intelligence services won't abandon strategies that proved so successful. Her secure computer displays a new message from an encrypted address. Congratulations on your recent success. Similar networks operate in allied nations. Interested in consulting work? substantial compensation available for experienced professionals. The message arrives through channels that should be impossible for outsiders to access, suggesting either continued security vulnerabilities or the conspiracy's survival in different forms. She screenshots the message before deleting it, adding another piece to her growing collection of evidence. A soft knock interrupts her analysis. She opens the door to find Ravi, looking healthier but still bearing the stress marks of his captivity. "Couldn't sleep either?" he asks, noting her late-night work session. "Too many loose ends. This conspiracy didn't develop overnight, and disrupting it won't eliminate the underlying vulnerabilities." She gestures toward her computer screens, showing ongoing intelligence analysis. Foreign services are already adapting their approaches. Ravi nods grimly. "They offered me a position in Singapore, legitimate research work with a private technology firm. The salary was 3 times my government pay, plus housing and education benefits for my family. Tempting? Terrifying. Because it made me realize how many of my colleagues might accept similar offers without considering the larger implications." He pauses, collecting his thoughts. "We're not just fighting foreign intelligence services. We're competing with economic systems that can offer our best people opportunities our own country struggles to provide." The observation touches on deeper issues beyond espionage and betrayal. India's technological development faces structural challenges that make talent retention increasingly difficult as global competition intensifies. Ananya's secure phone buzzes with an incoming message. The screen displays only, "Trust no one." She triple-checks the locks and prepares for a long night. One encrypted message blinks unanswered in her inbox. "Sender unknown." The subject line simply reads, "Trust no one." Outside her window, shadows move with purpose through the government complex. The conspiracy may be disrupted, but its echoes continue reverberating through institutions still learning to identify threats that emerge from within their own ranks. The game continues, with new players and evolving rules, but the fundamental challenge remains unchanged. In a world where loyalty can be purchased and trust weaponized, survival depends on questioning everything, while believing in nothing completely.
Her eyes burn cold, her touch ignites. She's the heartbeat in the dead.